Howdy, Dad, also known as Tom Steinbeck. Tell us about the story of Sam and Joyce Craig's wedding.
About 2 weeks before they got married, it was the summer of 1950. I was milking cows then and separating cream from the milk, and I did that in the basement of the house. And hot summer, temperature wise, that milk smell would come up into the house when I opened the basement door, or the upstairs of the house when I opened the basement door. So my mother's hounding me to periodically hose the basement out. So I finally did to get her off my back, and I was moving stuff there so it wouldn't get wet. So I was hosing the basement down, and here was a case of old coal whiskey. Full case had never been opened. The case had never been opened, and my dad must have hid it down there. Forgot about it because there was so much dust on the lid of it. I could have wrote my name on it. So I opened it up and popped the cork on a bottle and taken nips off of it while I was cleaning the basement, and then I started singing. And my mother opened the basement door and said, "Tommy, I knew you'd enjoy your work once you got into it." I said, "Yeah, I'm into it all right." And anyway, I took that case of whiskey up. They got married about 2 weeks later. I took it up to the wedding. I had a room in the Charles Gurney Hotel in Yankton, South Dakota. And the night before the wedding, we had a big party there. And free booze, they'd always drink too much. Anyway, the desk come up and said, "You got to quit this up. We're getting a couple complaints that people can't go to sleep. Well, just tell them the next time they complain, come and join the party." Damned if they never. Anyway, man, in the morning, Jack Steinbeck, Joyce's brother, come to wake us up, and I had my foot on the floor. I had the rest of my body on the bed and one foot on the floor, and Jack said, "Well, come you got your foot on the floor?" I said, "I keep the darn bed from spinning." So anyway, man, with that whole wedding crew was sicker than a dog that next morning. The wedding was about 11 o'clock in the morning. And so after the wedding, after they left on their honeymoon trip, we all went down to the roundup room. That was a lounge, bar and lounge there in the hotel. So this one bridesmaid, Eleanor Kinney, she had a strapless gown on, and she's complaining about the heat, the hot summer day. So I took some ice out of the ice bowl there and put it down her cleavage. Well, she stood up to dig it out. Well, anyway, I didn't know it. She didn't know it. I had my chair on her bottom hem of her dress. Well, she stood up real fast, so the dress stayed. And so she was topless there for a few minutes. And the guys at the bar there were taking us all in, our party. And one guy said afterward, that's the best floor show he ever saw. It didn't cost nothing.
All right, tell us about your dad, Elmer Steinbeck. Where was he born? And tell us a little bit about him.
Well, my dad and granddad, they're born on the same family homestead in South Dakota, up by Spink, South Dakota. And my great-grandfather died in 1906. My dad was born in 1898. So when my the oldest son got everything at that time. That was a Swedish custom. And so he had to leave the farm because my dad's uncle wanted to sell it. So they moved to Sioux City, and my granddad was a cattle trader. He opened a cattle firm on the Sioux City stockyards in 1906. So my dad lived in Sioux City since 1906, and when he was a teenager worked at stockyards. And the Steinbeck family was the oldest, next to the oldest one, longevity at stockyards outside of the Wake family. They were there longer. And my dad, he was liked to be a clown. He was a clown in Shrine Circus, dressed up in a clown, and he had a trick mule named Judy, and she'd lay upside down, and he'd get on her belly, and her back legs would go back and forth, her front legs the same, and they took a picture of a Shrine Convention out in Denver, and that was on the front page of the paper out there, that mule laying upside down in the street, and my dad on top of the, sitting on top of the belly of the horse. But I never could find that. It got waylaid someplace, and never could find that magazine or that newspaper.
Tell us about a funny story growing up with your dad.
Oh, I don't know, so many of them I can't recall.
Tell us about his general disposition or his character. Was he a serious guy? Was he a joker?
Well, I always liked, he always had humor. He always liked to humorize people. And he was good at finding somebody's weakness. He liked to rub them about it.
Did he do that to you too?
Yeah.
Did he do that to his wife?
Yeah.
Your mother?
Yeah, he said my mother was, the whole world was out of step except her. She was so odd.
What other stories? Did they ever get in fights? Did they ever, anything funny ever happen?
Arguments. That was about a weekly deal.
And who would win?
Toss-up.